Thanks so much for joining us for today's webinar on the future of Brand USA's global consumer experience. For those I haven't had a chance to meet yet, I'm Skylar Clark, Senior Director of Partner Strategy here at Brand USA. And for today's webinar, we're sharing how we're reimagining the way travelers discover and plan their US adventures and what that means for all of us destination marketers moving forward. Before we dive in, let me quickly introduce today's presenters. Today we have Jeanette Rausch, our SVP of Innovation and Chief AI Officer. We'll kick things off with how AI is reshaping traveler behavior. And then Dan Rosenbaum, our Senior Director of Digital Marketing, will walk you through the new capabilities of our reimagined website. And finally, Nate Huff, SVP at Miles Partnership, will talk about how our partners can tap into this transformation. Here's a quick look at what we'll cover: the evolving role of AI and how it's changing travel planning, a preview of our new site strategy and functionality, how we're evolving and scaling content across the platform, and what partnership opportunities are coming up and how to get in. We're really talking more than just a basic website refresh. It's about a full transformation. And we're building a smarter, more responsive, more connected platform for travelers and you for our partners. So let's get into it. Jeanette, I'll hand it off to you.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Skylar, and thanks everybody for joining today's webinar. So what I'll be doing for my portion of the webinar is really setting the stage for the context behind why are we making these moves in terms of the America the Beautiful and the visittheusa.com websites. So if you use a computer, this screen will look pretty familiar to you, right? We already know that search is changing dramatically. This is a screenshot of a Google AI overview for a search on things to do in Washington, D.C. And then we know that as a result of these AI overviews, we're seeing a rise in zero-click searches. So travelers don't necessarily need to click through to the blue link that takes the visitor to our websites. They're often finding the answers they need right there on the page that they're visiting. This is a terrific study that Focusrite released back in July, looking at traveler behavior in the US, but also in the UK, France, and Germany. So as part of this research, they've learned that 15 to 22% of those international markets are already using generative AI when they are planning their travel. Like, the stuff is coming, right? It's not going away. It's also a great indication if you look at the different ways people are using AI, whether it's getting ideas about places to go, putting together itineraries, comparing destinations, that the use of AI isn't just in one place in the travel funnel. We're seeing it throughout the funnel. And while this may be more upper funnel behavior, we're moving towards more lower funnel behavior as well. Back in July, OpenAI released ChatGPT Agent. So this is essentially handing a mouse to AI and allowing it to go out, do work for you to research things on the internet, and then it can actually click through to finish purchases for a traveler. So throughout the funnel, AI is absolutely going to have an impact. Then this study is from booking.com, and this also came out in July, and it's terrific because they interviewed over 37,000 travelers around the globe. And so I love this image because they asked, would you trust an AI assistant or a coworker to plan a trip for you? And more people are going to trust AI than the people they work with. So that's not true for me. I would let my coworkers plan my trip any day, but it's a great indication of the way that people are learning to trust AI more and more with larger tasks on their behalf. From the same study, they saw that 67% of global travelers have used AI in some way on at least one trip. And this is showing a little bit of a dichotomy here, that they asked what people are concerned about privacy use when using AI. And they saw just over half of their audience are concerned about privacy. And rightly, we should be concerned about privacy with AI use. But when you reframe the question about sharing personal data with AI in order to get personalized results from those systems, all of a sudden people are much more trusting about it, right? With 86% of the respondents feeling comfortable about that. And then this is the last slide from the booking study, just looking regionally, how are folks using AI? And we are seeing greater adoption in LATAM and APAC, and then more moderate adoption when we're looking at Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and North America. So this is the booking study looked at this information on a really high level, regional level. If we were to drill down a little deeper, there's not tons of amazing data out there at the moment, but you see really there's higher adoption of AI in more emerging markets and in Asia. And then you are seeing slightly more hesitation with AI adoption when you look specifically at Europe, the UK, Australia. So people are still exploring AI use. It's just a little slower than in the emerging markets. And so one of the reasons we're making these changes to our website is we know that the way that consumers are interacting with websites and the internet, that's changing. The old way of we tell you the information we think you should have, and we're going to dictate the order in which you see that information, that approach is changing. And what we're really moving towards is an AI-enabled approach where people are actually able to interact with the information that they see on websites. People expect, just like in a Google search, it feels strange almost to type a question and then not be able to ask the follow-up question. That's why we're seeing Google finally making changes, right, to their search experience. So people expect now when they are landing on websites that it's not going to be what we feed to them, but it's going to be an opportunity for them to discover the information that they are looking for. And from a high level, Dan will go more specifically into the benefits of the AI chat that we have on our website. But broadly speaking, the benefits of having this type of interface on a website is the ability to mine the conversations that people have with that chatbot for first-party data about what they are interested in for your destination. You could take that information and do a gap analysis on it to discover what content do you have, and then what content are people looking for that you actually don't have. That's going to show to you where you can create that new content. It also gives you the opportunity to empower partners with more specific information on how people are talking about your destinations and your businesses, your organizations, and to share information back with you. You have this chat on your own web. Again, it's the opportunity to trickle down to members and stakeholders, richer, more detailed information about what people are expecting from your organization or business. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Thanks, Jeanette. Good afternoon. I'm excited to share with you the strategy and continued evolution of AmericaTheBeautiful.com. Over the past few months, we've been working on reimagining and reinventing a modern destination website, not just for today, but one that looks toward the future and continues to be dynamic and flexible, inspiring travelers to visit the USA for years to come. As we developed the website in preparation for the new brand campaign launch at IPW, we focused on these core principles. Number one, the campaign website needed to reflect the creative vision, voice, and tone of the broader brand initiative. Two, the experience had to resonate with the current moment while setting the stage for what's next. And three, we intentionally designed the infrastructure of AmericaTheBeautiful.com to support ongoing growth, innovation, and flexibility. Following these three core strategy principles, we recognized a need for a new official national DMO website. While we intentionally built the infrastructure of AmericaTheBeautiful.com to support the future, we look to the present at the current VisitTheUSA.com to ground our approach. The new digital infrastructure uses Visit USA's strong foundation of domain authority and rich content built up over the last decade, but also fully utilizes forward-looking AI technology, updated design, and personalization that will enhance the user experience. We can't have a forward-looking site without building on the present. Phase 1 launch gave us the opportunity to test new tools and integrations at a smaller scale and gain valuable insights before moving into a larger, more ambitious development plan. And now it's time to show you the site. You won't simply see a chatbot widget in the corner of the page. There are contextual custom prompts for consumers throughout the site to launch guided exploration. This provides a robust experience for site visitors while providing Brand USA with that valuable first-party data about what travelers are searching for. And the site is organized around the next decade of events, which gives visitors exciting opportunities. We see Route 66 100th anniversary, major sporting events like FIFA and the Olympics, and next year's 250th birthday of America as destination drivers that will not only drive people to the gateways, but disperse them out to all corners of the country. The site is flexible to provide opportunities for all destinations who either align with road trip corridors, major events, or historical tie-ins to America 250. This is a platform that creates natural partnership opportunities based on how travelers actually plan and experience America. But beyond these site themes, website visitors can also be able to explore the site through one of our key audience segments: outdoors, family, luxury, arts, and culture. And what on the website isn't final today. The content will continue to evolve and grow, and that's a great thing. One of the exciting benefits of our America 250 partnership is the automatic event cross-promotion that is currently in development. When you submit your events through your state's America 250 Commission, they'll appear on both america250.org and America the Beautiful, double the exposure. And because your events will live on our site, MindTrip will ingest them into our AI trip planner, further creating a path for discovery of your event and suggesting America 250 themed itineraries. Now, I know we've talked a lot about MindTrip so far, and I'm excited to go even deeper, but that's not the only new capability with americathebeautiful.com. Think of MindTrip as your co-pilot while exploring americathebeautiful.com. Visitors can explore destinations through deeper content or jump straight into personalized planning. No friction, no leaving the site. There's multi-language accessibility, which means that international visitors get content in their native language, which removes a massive barrier. Plus, we're getting analytics we've never had before: engagement metrics, location data, sentiment analysis, real insights into how people plan their trips to America. We're making it easier for international travelers to discover and book American destinations. Now, that's what on the front end. But to provide travelers with personalized one-to-one recommendations, the technology powering MindTrip is multi-layered. MindTrip uses a multi-model orchestration layer, drawing on leading LLMs, large language models like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Gemini. Rather than training its own model, MindTrip integrates these with proprietary logic, structured hints, and curated data sources to deliver travel-specific recommendations. There are robust third-party integrations, real-time feeds for hotels, flights, mapping, and availability. There's restaurant and event integrations like Google Places, OpenTable, Resy, and TripAdvisor for a few. Photos, reviews, and experience data are also pulled from licensed sources: Unsplash, TripAdvisor, Michelin. And MindTrip adds a lot of value. Their orchestration layer blends these models and feeds into a single experience, and there are guardrails, red team testing, and key facts injected into the experience that allow Brand USA to maintain control over messaging, safety, and reputation. And MindTrip crawls America the Beautiful and Visit the USA for all of that content. I'll pass it on to Jeanette.
Yes, because we should not talk about AI without talking about brand safety at the same time. And the reason that we do that is you have probably heard the term hallucinations, that AI can make things up. And obviously, we do not want any kind of content on our website to be made up. So how do we control to make sure that we are doing the testing so that the final product that the consumer sees is really seamless and perfect? And the way that we do that is through a process that's called red teaming. And so it's actively trying to get the chatbot to say something that it shouldn't. And then if it does, that's information that we can share back with MindTrip, and they can put prompts and controls in place in order to fix what is happening. So red teaming is something that happens both once at the start of a project like this, but it's also something that's ongoing. So you can't just set and forget AI because those underlying models, they're changing not all the time, but on a regular basis. So if you look at OpenAI had a release for ChatGPT a couple of weeks ago of GPT-5. And you probably heard some news that the rollout didn't go very well, right? Now, that doesn't affect anything here because MindTrip is using an API with OpenAI to connect to one of those older models. They're not subject to the minute-by-minute changes in something like ChatGPT. But those models do change. And when they do, it affects the answers that they get. So we make sure that we are doing weekly testing in addition to daily testing, or in addition to that initial testing of the website. And so what does that look like? We are searching for factual errors, off-brand remarks, bias, stereotyping, anything unsafe, anything that would be negative, and any kind of security and abuse vulnerabilities as well. This is actually what it looks like to do the red teaming. If you're standing up your own chatbot on your website, please make sure this is a process that you're going through, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about it. You can reach out to me in the Q&A at the end of the webinar. We want to create different categories of the questions that should be asked, and then you can use AI to actually write those questions. And then you just sit and you're plugging these questions into the language model. You can actually participate in the red teaming of our chatbot yourself. The way that you do that, go on, ask questions about your destination. If you see that there is a response you don't love, and certainly if the response is inaccurate in some way, there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down button in that chat. If you hit the thumbs down button and give a brief explanation of what you don't love about the response, that goes directly to MindTrip and it is reviewed by humans. And everybody is very active in trying to push the limits of what this can do. So we want to make sure that whether it's somebody trying to make a security breach or just trying to trick the machine into saying something that could be embarrassing for us, that we are doing the work to stay ahead of that so that your brand and your destinations are going to be safe in the content that you share on americathebeautiful.com. And now I'll send it back to Dan.
Thanks, Jeanette. And just like we are reimagining what a national DMO website looks like on the front end, we have to reimagine how we want to measure success. And with new technical capabilities, it's really a team effort. I want to give a shout out to Matt Nicolette on our team and the team over at Miles to help us get our ducks in a row in terms of measurement. We focus on 5 main areas of measurement. Number 1 is traffic and reach. 2, engagement and user experience. There's conversion and action, AI performance and content intelligence, and perception and brand leadership. While we do have these new capabilities to measure much more, we'll also continue to report on all the familiar metrics from Visit the USA that you've come to expect from us, such as page views and engagement time. AI-based reporting is still very new. And when we launched our site back in June, that was to largely industry audience. But early signs are really encouraging from what we see. Compared to general site traffic, AI engaged users view 2 times more pages, they spend 3 times more engaged time on our site, and bounce less than half as often. And in conversations with other destination partners who have integrated a chatbot on their sites, we have learned that the benchmark is 1 to 2%, with 3% being best in class. And early on, we are seeing 8 to 9% AI engagement rate on our site. So that's really encouraging. And we're not done yet. That means coming soon, we're going to use natural language processing on our user chat interaction to inform segmentation and targeting efforts for partner marketing campaigns. But MindTrip isn't the only exciting new piece of technology and capability of the site. We're going to have real-time personalization based on how people enter or behave on our site. Someone from Japan looking for outdoor adventures, Demand Science instantly serves up relevant content, adjusts the experience, and optimizes everything for that visitor. It works for anonymous traffic from day 1, no waiting for data to build up. We can better match the right visitors with the right content and the right destinations in real time. That means higher engagement, better signals, and better conversions. And lastly is Weglot. We are leveraging AI translations with a native linguist overview. We've also ingested a decade's worth of knowledge in glossary terms and style guides across all of our languages to ensure that translations are not only instant, but reliable. Partners no longer will have to wait days to see their content translated in language. And now I'll pass it off to Nate to talk about the phase 2 and phase 3 of our website evolution.
Thank you very much, Dan. You and Jeanette did a great job of setting the stage. I will say I will disagree with Jeanette, and I would trust a AI planning bot over a colleague anytime to plan my travel, but maybe I've had more bad experiences than she has. What I'm going to try to do on the heels of what they've done is provide a little more clarity on what the next 6 months is going to look like, specifically for partners, as we build upon that infrastructure of America the Beautiful to launch Visit USA in early 2026 and to preview the opportunities to participate in the America the Beautiful and future Visit USA platform. When I look at this grossly oversimplifying this multi-phased approach, I like to use the framework of where we started, where we're going, and where we'll end up. And as Dan noted, we started with a campaign site built in a record time around key events and major campaign themes about high funnel impact, about the wow factor. Where we're going, what we're working on right now is expanding the navigation and the content to really showcase those diverse destinations experiences, both to support the campaign, but also to start to introduce some very direct partner value. Where we're going to end up by Q1 of next year is with a Visit the USA website that's going to really set the standard for national DMO sites and have a robust set of partner programming behind it. I'm going to get a little bit more specific here on where we're going and where we will end up, those components of this. I'm not going to go through every single major milestone that we're going to hit over the next couple months, but I wanted to speak to a few that are of specific interest to the partners. So new state pages and an update to the navigation of America the Beautiful to include geographic and interest-based pathways for user exploration is going to be completed in the early fall. In parallel with that and continuing beyond that, there will be content redevelopment for those destinations that are participating in fall and winter campaigns. So redeveloping content from Visit the USA into America the Beautiful and the future, visittheusa.com, will be happening on an ongoing basis with those partners that are participating in fall and winter programming being prioritized in that process as we head towards the launch of the new Visit the USA in Q1 of 2026. I want to talk a little bit about like how does that translate to actual content redevelopment and start at the strategic level. When we look at redeveloping content, what we are not trying to do is migrate content page by page from the existing visittheusa.com site to the new visittheusa.com site, or ATB as it is currently referred to. What we want to be doing is creating a strategic redevelopment of content that creates that user experience that ultimately delivers deeper engagement for the brand, but most importantly for the context of the partners with partner content as well. What it means, bottom line for partners, is that if you're a partner that has participated in any program tied to visittheusa.com the past 4 years, you will have some presence on this new consumer website. And we'll get into some real specifics on that in the next couple slides here. So for partners who are actively participating in website related campaigns. So if they're a partner that's actively running a campaign in FY 2026 or is planning on running a campaign, a America the Beautiful and then Visit the USA campaign, once that transition occurs in January, you're going to have an opportunity to provide brand aligned images for your new destination pages. You're going to have an opportunity to provide input on topics, on copy, and in some cases, depending on what that participation looks like, also collaborate on very specific AI prompts to create discovery in the areas in your destination that you want to promote. Also, partners that aren't necessarily participating directly in America the Beautiful or Visit the USA specific campaign, but are participating in other consumer campaigns through Brand USA that drive audiences to America the Beautiful and the future visittheusa.com. We will also be prioritizing destination page redevelopment for those destination partners, and we'll provide a courtesy proof of those new pages to destination. So that's how it's going to work for kind of active participants collaborating with Brand USA in 2026 campaigns. We can talk about historical participants in Brand USA programming. So partners with destination pages that have participated in a Visit the USA campaign, like a content refresh or a programmatic audience campaign in the last several years, they will also receive a destination page on americathebeautiful.com. That destination page is going to incorporate existing experience page content if there are additional experience pages. And partners that have not participated in Visit the USA specific programs in the past 2 years, but have participated in other, again, consumer programs driving to content on Visit the USA, will also have a page created. If there's anything glaringly wrong with that content, we're also happy to make changes there, but it won't have the same level of kind of proactive input, obviously, that those partners who are actively participating in new programs. Providing design comps of a website still under development is like showing an artist rendering of a kitchen when you're still working on final blueprints for a house. But with that in mind, we wanted to create these to show partners how destination-based or place-based navigation is going to be incorporated into the existing America the Beautiful navigation, as well as how some of the major thematic or interest-based navigation pathways will be incorporated as well through the Get Inspired component of navigation. You can also see on this page a sample destination page. And as you look at that, you can see how much more dynamic the content versus the current destination pages, including maps for deeper exploration, AI prompts dropped into both the header, but also throughout the various content components. So in essence, what we're able to do is create a much richer experience for consumers on the destination page and allow them to explore, as I like to say, up, down, and sideways through the use of curated content and AI. Jeanette, Dan, and I have spoken a lot about evolution, primarily sort of evolution in response to consumer expectations, evolution in response to technology trends, evolution to serve the brand. Partner opportunities are also evolving. This is much more of a holistic evolution than what we've seen in terms of incremental evolutions in the past. So the America the Beautiful program strategy is going to cross into partner programming really across all the different programming verticals. Today, we're speaking specifically about how it's going to show up in owned channel inclusion, so on website, consumer websites specifically. But we're also going to see alignment in content themes, alignment in creative execution across third-party, both multi-market programming, as well as market-focused programming. So there's a much more cohesive voice coming from Brand USA internationally, and partners are able to better take advantage of that halo effect. This webinar is focused on the consumer side for the consumer website and the promotion around that. This means aligning destination content with Brand USA's thematic pillars, as well as perhaps even more importantly, ensuring the value of future consumer website programming doesn't show up in some of the more outdated ways we talk about cooperative marketing, like features and components and numbers of words and images, but rather we're talking about value in actual marketing KPIs, whether that's enhanced impressions, an increase in improved click-through rates, as Dan was noting, better time on site driven by AI engagement. It's really a matter of moving that value proposition with these future consumer website promotion campaigns into that provable engagement and away from a feature-based approach. By making this evolution in focus and value proposition into measurable engagement and increase in audience, we're also able to move away from some of the more cumbersome pieces of infrastructure building, content collection, and some of the things that partners have also expressed some concern or friction about in the past in terms of how long that takes and how heavy a lift it is. The way that these pages are being built, the way that these programs are being designed, these are absolutely built for flexibility and speed to market. So partners will have flexibility in the markets that they want to reach. They'll have flexibility around timing. We will have a get to market path that is significantly faster. It'll ultimately create a way for partners to much more dynamically partner with Brand USA to do programming in that inspirational and that consideration and in that planning, those legs of the trip planning journey for the traveler through America the Beautiful and Visit the USA program. So I promised everybody I would not go into detail on what is a bit of an eye chart here that shows different partner campaign options. But what I do want to highlight is the media reach, the market flexibility, and the opportunity to help shape AI integrations specific to your campaign and market goals. So partners are really going to be able to focus in on that content based on the market they're reaching. If they want to do a campaign in India during the spring, they will have the opportunity to shape prompts to speak more directly to the travel interests of the Indian traveler while they're running that specific campaign. Or if they're wanting to reach out to Canada in the winter, they're able to do the same thing in that campaign as well. So creating a significantly more flexible and more personalized experience for those campaigns. Finally, did want to speak briefly to the value that gets created beyond the direct content exposure and the direct campaigns to partner specific content. So we recognize that consumers don't necessarily plan at a single destination level. So while all of the different campaign options include direct promotion to that destination, several of the options also include opportunities for partners to become part of multi-destination articles, itineraries, thematic pieces, and you're able to tap into these themes that are being supported by Brand USA's larger brand effort. So this becomes a cohesive part of that narrative, and it has its own media attached to it to create audience specific to a Northwestern great outdoors itinerary, a Southeast cultural and gastronomy experience. There'll be a number of different multi-destination articles that are created and supported by media as part of the partner programming that gets developed. And with that, I believe I'm going to hand it back to Skylar.
Thanks so much, Nate. I know we just covered a lot today, from how AI is powering personalized trip planning to what's coming from MindTrip and our other new capabilities on the site, and even how you guys can plug in. So we know it is a lot, and we are at the beginning of a structured phase approach, but we're here with you to answer any questions you have. Before we jump into Q&A, remember, if you're currently part of a program tied to visittheusa.com, your presence will carry over to the new platform. And the new visittheusa.com is slated to launch in early 26. Your partner engagement manager, of course, always your best point of contact to help you move forward. So on the screen here, you can see who your person is and the region that they cover. So with that, I want to open up to any questions you guys may have. As a city, how do we ensure we are including all content and all themes?
So if you're a city and you're participating in any sort of programming, our team will take a lead in pulling over content from Visit the USA as it currently exists, redeveloping it. I keep saying redevelop instead of migrate, because again, we're not necessarily moving all of the old furniture into the new house, but rather we're reshaping the existing furniture to fit the new house. So we will present content that ideally matches up with the themes that were covered in your existing content. That being said, if you're participating in any campaign, you have an opportunity again to provide input in that content. I think when you see the destination pages, there are a number of content modules that will appear that are a lot more flexible than what the existing city pages look like. So it gives you an opportunity to thematically address different audiences, different points of emphasis in what you're marketing in a destination. So I would say sit down with someone on the partnership team, on our team, and talk through what you want to make sure that you see there in terms of your content that you're marketing.
And the cost structure, feel free to go to your partner engagement team and we'll be able to share more on the program. Thank you all again. Feel free to reach out to your person. The email there as well. If you're not sure, go to partnerinfo@thebrandjusa.com and we'll be sure to get with you.